Yo YouTube, this is my video for Wednesday the 17th of September, and I'm on my way to do my pickup. Got to be there before 9:30. The traffic's a bit heavier than usual, but I've left in plenty of time. My ETA is currently 9:15. I've got about 23 miles to drive to Peterborough, and I'm picking up a medium wheelbase van job going to Clontrisant in South Wales. It's a single pallet, and I'm getting £190 for this, 190, and it's 194 loaded miles. From start to finish, this should take me in the region of 4.5 hours. So I've left at 8:30. So roughly speaking, let's say 5 hours from there. 1:30 should be when I finish my drop off. As you can see, the weather is very poor. It's a little bit windy and it's raining a lot. Today is the first day that I'm wearing a jumper over my t-shirt. It's got too chilly to do anything else. And the only thing to add at this point is the shipper I've used before, and they did the same thing last time, which I thought was quite useful, is they've put a photo of the actual load that I'm taking on the CX booking. So I can, if I need to, I can show someone on site that's what I'm due to be taking. And I think I'll point that out because there are various little things drivers can do and shippers can do to add an element of quality to their service. And I would say that it's quite rare that a shipper will put a photo of the actual load on. I appreciate it's not always possible, because sometimes the load isn't a single item and it's not necessarily known, it's not necessarily an individual thing. But where it is possible, I think it's a better thing to do for drivers' benefit to have a photo of the item that you're taking. So if you are a shipper and you're trying to distinguish yourself a bit more from everyone else, that's an idea that I would share with you. Then I was thinking, what do I do as a driver to distinguish myself from everyone else? And the only thing I can come up with is a genuine ability and desire to have personal integrity. If you were a very good memory and you watched all my videos way back in the early days, back in late 2023, I explained about my personal values. And the second personal value was to demonstrate personal integrity. And I defined that by being honest, open, trustworthy, reliable. And basically, that's what my unique selling point is. I don't have the greatest van. I don't have particular skill set in terms of what I can take. I don't have an ADR or refrigerated van or any other sort of special insurances. The only thing that I can offer that is unique to a lot of other drivers is my personal integrity. And at the moment, I think that's fine. And I'll tell you why. I wish it wasn't the case, because that's reasonably rare in the drivers on CX. And I think that's quite sad, and I wish I had to sort of try harder or fight harder to distinguish myself from other drivers. But unfortunately, it's all you got to do. If you're not currently doing this job and you're thinking about doing it, and you have those values and you can demonstrate them and live by them, you're probably going to do okay. There's a lot of other factors, but there's, I can't imagine there's a lot more you to do than that as a driver. Anyway, that's my little ramble for this morning. I shall let you know how my day goes. I'm reasonably optimistic that I'll get something back from South Wales or maybe Bristol. Maybe what I'll do is get a Bristol to London job and then call it quits after that. in which case it should be a great day. But I'll let you know. I like that area of the country because although it's hard to get jobs, if I get a decent job, it does pay pretty well. Because where I want to go, the east of the country is not that popular. My ideal job would be a sort of I don't know, Tantristan area, Newport, Cardiff, Swansea, going to Norwich. So I can't imagine anybody would want to do that. And Norwich to my home is about an hour and a quarter, so it's quicker than getting back from London. So and also because, obviously, if you don't know the area, Norwich is a long way away in terms of distance and miles from South Wales. It'd be a lovely challenge for me to have that in one day from where I live to South Wales, South Wales to Norwich. It's almost like a perfect day, really. And then go home. But it's unlikely to happen, I know. But I can dream, can't I? Right, I am going to be listening to some music now because it's a miserable day and I listen to some happy music. And I shall update you as and when something amazing happens. Because only amazing stuff gets shared on this channel. Hello there, I'm back. So, I finished my delivery at Tantristan at 5:22. And just before I arrived, sort of 2 minutes before I arrived, I was called about a job going from Caerphilly, that area, going to Trowbridge near Bath. It's 86 loaded miles for a long wheelbase van job. Basically, it's one non-hazardous IBC and 600 kilograms, which is plenty of. I can cope with that plenty. It's 600 kilograms, so I can cope with that quite easily. And I am taking it for £90, which doesn't get me close to home, but gets me towards home. And my mileage to get to the pickup is only 13 miles, just over half an hour. And I'm really pleased with this job. It could have been a lot worse. There was a better job that I bid on didn't get, but I still have a chance to have done this of getting a third job today. So even if I don't get a third job, I've made 280 gross, which is not bad at all. My mileage will be high today, so I'll need to try and earn a little job to make my sort of maximum target that I like getting. But even at that, I'm going to make over £200. I'm probably going to spend about £60, £65 on fuel today. So I reckon I need to earn about what, 315, 320 ideally. But if not, 280 is fine. So I'm on my way to pick that up now. And then I don't know what time I'll be in Trowbridge. It's going to be 4:30 maybe. So it's unlikely I'll get a job, but there's a chance at least. And at least I'm heading in the right direction. We'll just go straight home anyway. Right, so yeah, it's good. That's a good job. The job that I didn't get was going from Cardiff to York. I could have picked up in time. I wasn't, it had to be picked up before 4 o'clock. So it's a small van job. It's like 260 odd miles, 240 miles loaded, and I bid 190, which was 80 pence per loaded mile. I didn't get that job, so that was disappointing. To be fair, I got this job before the other one had decided, but it'd been on for about 10 minutes and they still hadn't called me. So the one to York would have been really, really, really good, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. Right, I'll switch later. Cheers. Okay, so I've just picked up my load from It was actually Ferndale, a place called Mardy, spelt Maerdy, and I did double check with the people on site as to how you should pronounce this place. And I've got the load on board. I had to wait for 20 minutes while they sorted out the paperwork and got me loaded, which is a shame because it's delaying my day further. Also, it's going to put me right near the end of the closing time for the place I'm going to. I asked them on site what time they closed, and they didn't know, but they thought they're open all night. And on Google Maps, or on Google, it says it's 5:15 is the closure time. So I have put my ETA as 5:30. Google Maps at the moment is saying 5 o'clock. So I'm hoping that between all those figures and numbers, I get there on time and they offload me quickly. I thought I would also do a video at this point because I don't get to Wales very much, but this is very much a typical Valleys Welsh environment. Not the weather per se, although maybe it is, but more kind of the structure of the streets and the hills and the terraced housing. I came up one street and the angle of the roofs must have been about 30 degrees. It looks crazy. I don't know what's going to be like inside. They must have very weird shaped top floors at least, because the roof was not horizontal to the windows. So I've got that on board, and I shall 20 miles an hour. So the other thing to mention is these roads are 20 miles an hour, which is quite slow, but they are quite hilly and quite narrow roads, so that makes a bit of sense to me. But I think not all traffic obeys that rule. Anyway, so I've got 2 and a bit hours to go, and then I'll be offloaded in it's actually Westbury, if you know the area, rather than Trowbridge, but I don't know the area that well, so I was in Trowbridge. So thank you for listening, and I shall let you know my stats on my way back home. I think it's very unlikely I'll get a third job. I've got quite a long journey to get home, so maybe at some point along that route I might pick up a small job. I could pick up some for delivery in the morning as well. I need to look now for jobs for tomorrow morning from home, but also have a look along my route and see if there's any jobs to pick up on the way. But I'm not going to assume that I am. I'm going to assume once I've uploaded this, that's the end of my day. Okay. Can I show you any more of this countryside? It's hard to see, isn't it, because of the mist and the rain. But yeah, the houses on my left are pretty typical of the houses you get around this area. And you've got very steep streets coming off. So a lot of these towns, I suppose, they have parallel lines, parallel roads that are parallel with the main road going through along the side of the hill. Then they've got perpendicular roads at ridiculous angles up the side of the hill to connect the roads. I remember I used to go to Pontypridd quite a lot, which is near here, because my dad used to live there, and so I am familiar with this area of the country, although I don't feel like it's... I'm familiar with the way that it's laid out and the way that the hills are, but I'm not familiar with the culture or with the language or anything like that. I wouldn't say I'm part of South Wales, but I do have a slight affection because of my personal history and my... So when I was a teenager, I used to come to Pontypridd quite a lot. Anyway, enough free waffling. I shall speak to you later. Right, it's just gone 7:30. I've got 2 hours left to go before I get home. I've just filled up with fuel, and so I can give you now a more accurate set of statistics for today. So with my new fuel, my average fuel price for for this week is now 14.65 pence per mile. I have driven a total today of 503 miles, 503. By the time I get home, I will have worked for just about 12 3/4 hours. And I've earned from 2 CX jobs a gross amount of £290, 290. I spent quite a lot on fuel today because of the distance, so that comes to £73.69. So I round that up to £74, which means that today's net earnings after taking into account fuel comes to £206, 206. My running daily average net earnings after taking into account fuel is now £201. So it's gone up slightly from today. I feel that today hasn't been too bad, but it hasn't been amazing either. It's been a work-like day where I put in the hours and I've got, a reasonable amount of money out of it. I could have got a lot more if I got one of the bigger jobs that I've been on, but then I also could have got a lot less if I'd not got my second job. If I haven't already told you, I dropped off my second job in Westbury at 5:10, and then I realised it was 3 3/4 hours to get home. So as I was driving towards home, that was sort of Chippenham, then Swindon, Oxford, and then Bicester. I'm on my way to Bicester now. I was looking for jobs along my route, and absolutely nothing came up. Not a single job I could do. I set a journey home, and I put I'll go anywhere, and the only job that came up in all of that time was a job from Rugby to Preston, which I wouldn't do, but it gave me an indication of how I wasn't missing out on anything, because there was nothing else at all that I could have bid on. So I've done the best that I could. I'll be home just after 9:30. I've got a full tank of fuel, got a full belly, and I feel okay tiredness wise. So I have got a job for tomorrow morning. It's an okay job, it's not amazing, but it's a decent start, and I'm hoping to get a good day in tomorrow. Similar sort of earnings if I can. Right, thank you very much for listening to my video. I hope that you are all being successful, however you choose to find that word for yourselves. I shall see you tomorrow. Farewell, friends.